I don't know.
So back to the movie.
Heat it up, it gets bigger.
The movie is sitting on a 78% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, we're just gonna start this shit live.
The only time I caught the Holy Ghost was when I was in church drinking.
Like they're two dumb dudes. Welcome to the latest episode of Surratt and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast.
Okay.
I mean,
Sounds
we are going. Like, I feel like it's a 2-on-1 handicap match. Y'all look like y'all look like Typhoon and Tugboat.
Wow. Why?
No, I mean earthquake and Tugboat. My bad.
My man over here with his
Wow.
with his baby chair talking about we Typhoon and Tugboat. I just want to let you know off the break. I'm gonna let people know that Mikazi has a children's chair. It looks fire, but he admittedly was like, "Yeah, it's a children's chair, bro."
Look, I am what you would call frugal.
Look, he's got a shirt on that doesn't show his spare tire today. So,
Man, first of all, fuck you both. Just because y'all can grow beards. Oh my God.
Did you get that at a children's place? That sweatshirt too?
No. First of all, the shirt just old. All right. You just look like they took Chris and then put the color a little.
wow.
Put the brightness on the Photoshop.
Yep. They changed the contrast. That's exactly correct.
Oh, shit.
First of all, let's go back to the beard. Marcus, I see you had a ring on your finger, so I already know that you're good.
Man, listen.
I'm a whore. So there's
Yeah,
this guy knows.
I have
You don't get good facial hair unless you're eating the right thing.
Listen, Chris. I know you ain't talking about eating the right thing because Listen.
Where is this going?
Listen, Chris. Let's just say that's old country buffet right there.
Oh shit, Greg! No, Golden Corral, baby. Let's get it right.
You know what? Since Mikazi's a Boston fan, hold on.
Oh man,
My man's chair popped up like 4 inches when he got up.
It's all good. It's an adult chair. It's supposed to do that.
oh man.
Hey, look at y'all. Y'all the same right down to the hairline, bro.
It's all good. I got braids though. I got braids. My hair is nice and luxurious. I know.
Man.
I'm older, but I still could do it.
He got that good Rick Fox going on.
Bro. All right, with that being said, welcome to the latest episode of Surratt and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast. It's your boy Surratt, aka Mikazi.
And your boy Chris Brown, aka Red Ford Delta. So about doing up there.
Well, this week it's a little special because it's a new day on the podcast because we doing threesomes now. Yeah.
Whoa. Time out, pause. Flag on the play. What?
No, that's not good. There's 3 guys here.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. It's technically. I mean, who? We got a special guest. First time doing three members of the pod. Marcos, why don't you introduce yourself again to the people who may not have seen you on the pod before?
It's Marcos, aka at the Sunset Kid, and on social medias. I'm over here to disrupt and to provide a little bit of guidance to this podcast, where guidance is never before. Hopefully today, if you guys have heard me before, we won't have any technical issues. I have the backup, new background, everything. So let's go.
Bro, listen. I think it's gonna happen, Chris. If you don't know, Chris, Marcos's computer don't like talking to colored people. Just so you know.
Oh shit.
That's what happened.
I mean, unless I'm seeing wrong, and he got little pigments
You know what?
too.
You know what? I'm gonna start keeping a list of all the insults that Mikazi keeps here.
Oh man,
how y'all doing, man? This is nice. What do y'all think of this dynamic with 3 people? Because again, this is the first time like we've done this, and I think I'm curious to see how you two bounce off each other, other than comparing looks, because y'all motherfuckers look like y'all look in the mirror. But
wow,
y'all look like it's like Flash and Reverse Flash right here.
Wow.
I think you played this on purpose, man.
No, I think it's gonna be a good dynamic. What are y'all expecting out of this episode?
I'm expecting good things. So far in the 35 seconds we've been on, I think it's been good because Mikazi, he's a different person off camera. He's like, "Hey man, how you guys been?" But as soon as the camera goes, like, fuck you, fuck everybody. Hey, this is the podcast. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's his TV personality. You know what I'm saying?
Chris knows. Chris knows exactly how I am in person because, boy, I point some shit out.
We
Not
just said
even
it.
mad at
Just
it.
said
I'm
under
not
his
even
breath.
mad at it.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
go ahead, Chris.
Oh no, I said under his breath. But no, I'm actually excited for today. You
Yeah.
know, obviously a different member, a different intake on this gas movie you picked.
Hey man, listen.
Actually,
We're gonna have some.
Whoa.
I feel like we're gonna have some thoughts on this movie because again, this is. I picked the movie this week. This is my kind of movie. It's one of them lower budget. Just it's put a camera in front of some people, let them act. Let's see what kind of story you're gonna tell.
I
And
mean,
these
this movie, like Chris's thoughts aside, I think this movie was good. If you're a Paul Rudd fan, this is where Paul Rudd shined. Is him being himself, bringing nuances to a character, and it's based on a book. A book, typically a book of this nature doesn't have special effects or anything. They had the right cast and crew. When I saw who was starring in it, I was like, I don't know about this, but everything meshed well. Like honestly, Selena Gomez is probably the best I ever seen her. She's not trying to be Selena Gomez, she's trying to be the character. So
what do you think, Chris?
actually, no. I mean, I'm talking shit because you picked a whole bunch of wild shit back in the day. It actually wasn't a bad movie. Because we see some gayer shit. Ichigo, I'm gonna leave it at that. Whatever that stupid ass dog shit you picked. But
Man, first of all, no, you ain't talk shit about hot sheet like that, bro.
look, see exactly. Look, but nah, I actually agree with Marcos. It was cool to see Selena Gomez actually not trying to be her.
Yeah,
Like she actually just played the character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Paul Rudd. Like I actually prefer him. Because he did Idiot Brother too. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually prefer him movies like this than trying to be Ant-Man. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
like I want to see him get the Ant-Man paycheck, and he'll chew up scenery wherever he's at. But this is more geared to. This is why his career is like 25 years old, running and more. Because he became popular in Clueless, which is kind of a movie like this with a little bit more comedic timing. The young man that played the dude with the DMD, the 18-year-old, he was perfect in it. Like I think the dynamic that they had here, I believe this kid's name was Craig Roberts, was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the movie, if you listen now, the movie we watched this week is The Fundamentals of Caring on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. And I remember it hit my radar a while ago because, again, it's one of those Paul Rudd movies that, like, it's a little more low key. Some movies, I feel like he's trying a little too hard. Like I Love You, Man, or, those
That
ones
was
with Jason
supposed to
Segel.
be, his Hollywood movie. You know what I mean? That was supposed to be like, I'm a leading man. Let's start giving me vehicles. He doesn't do great in those because it feels like the studio's like forcing him to be a person he's not.
I just think in movies like this, he's allowed to, play it, play it a little more. He doesn't have to be the comedic character. He plays it a little more straight. And I think because of his demeanor, because of his look, he's actually really believable in roles like that.
Yep.
What about you, Chris? What was your first introduction to Paul Rudd, Chris?
My introduction. Honestly, I've seen Clueless and anything else, but I didn't know he was in the movies. Honestly,
That's because he ain't in no Tyler Perry movies.
Yo, I just want to say that the thoughts expressed by individuals in this podcast does not directly reflect my thoughts on it, just an FYI. But
he better lose his fan base because of you.
no, I barely have a fan base, but this is hilarious. Like you guys, like I love this. I love
honest
it.
discourse.
You know how many people when I was on Facebook, like, yo, you got a racist as best friend, but he's not racist, just an asshole. There's a difference. You know what I'm saying?
This is honest discourse. This is if we're driving home from the theater and we in the car, we got a person in the driver's seat, person in the passenger seat, person in the back seat, and we just, all right, what'd you think of this movie? This is exactly what this pod is. It's like, it's that after talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
speaking of after talk, after a movie, we usually partake in a little something. So everybody, what you guys drinking today?
You have my special guest first. Go ahead, Marcos.
I have my own SodaStream concoction, which is it's funny because people that have SodaStream, people assume that they're healthy. No, I just use the carbonated water and I go to the dollar store, put random ass powders that I find in it.
Oh, you did the dollar store too?
Yeah. And I also
see, I told y'all to say, look at this
drink store. I mean, bro, I can't bring myself to pay so much money for drinks that I know that aren't going to be great. I just go to Dollar Tree and every
Look
once
at
a
that.
month.
I told y'all both the same. Y'all
Mhm.
both exactly the same. The only difference is shade. That's it.
There's nothing wrong with Dollar Tree.
No,
Hey,
Dollar-
and whoever said otherwise got a problem.
no, Dollar Tree is awesome. I used to do a lot of like grocery shopping there.
Now, I don't know about grocery shopping,
I'm about to say,
Bro, we couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it.
but I don't
At
know,
least I
man.
go to the Dollar General Market.
Congratulations on you surviving, because I've been at Dollar Tree and I looked at their like meat select, like whatever they have in the fridge, and I was like, I can't trust it, because at the end of the day, it's still Dollar Tree.
Who the
No
hell-
shade.
What the
No
hell
shade.
I ain't buying meat at Dollar Tree, bro.
I don't know.
Chef Boyardee, some whatever like generic candies, and popcorn.
I don't do canned food. My mom, God rest her soul. I'm Dominican. We were never allowed to eat canned food because you never know.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
until when I was a teenager, I went and had Chef Boyardee, and I was like, oh, cool. I never have to try this again.
Yeah. Listen, first of all, you ain't gonna talk shit about Chef Boyardee, bro.
I can't say nice ravioli last night, man. Come on, now.
I know. Chris,
I
be
don't know,
having
man.
Chris.
I love ramen noodles though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We all love ramen noodles.
yeah,
Asian-
but
I don't know about that Chef Boyardee. It just leaves a weird aftertaste, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
can't do canned anything.
That's called flavor, bro.
Just put some cheese and hot sauce on it.
I know. Hot sauce on some ravioli is that's a hack right there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, what
You
you
guys are
think?
talking a language that I don't know. Hot sauce on a ravioli.
Yeah.
Your boy don't do hot sauce. So there you go. That's another difference between me and Craig.
Fake ass
Oh,
Dominican
man.
don't do hot
Should I
sauce.
put that shit on everything?
How am I thinking? Dominicans don't eat spicy.
Oh, get out.
Let's start a poll.
Let's get out of here. All right, Chris, what you drinking?
Oh man, me? I'm sticking to my good old H2O. Just keep it healthy. Try it.
Okay. Still leeching all them
Shaming us.
minerals, leeching all them minerals out your muscles. Okay, I got you.
Something like that. Oh, I'm a muscle still sturdy. I got natural body weight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
You let about 5 pounds of that out like 10 minutes before the podcast.
Oh God.
Yeah, I was in the exercise.
Yeah,
But
I got my friendlies. What was it? Reusable cup, and I got a pumpkin spice latte in here.
Oh,
You
really?
basic bitch motherfucker.
Well. It may or may not have some bourbon in it. Let y'all decide whether it does.
Either way, you said that with a little bit too much snap, crackle, and pop. There, you're like my pumpkin spice.
They do love this pumpkin spice. You looking for coffee, man?
I'm from New England. You gotta drink.
So am I. I
pumpkin
don't
spice.
drink that shit.
Yeah, right. Well, that's because you at that time. The only thing you was drinking, had 2 first names, and it poisoned you. Okay. Anyways, all right. So the fundamentals of caring. Essentially, the plot of this movie is you have Paul Rudd's character who is going through a moment in his life where he decides he needs to change pace. So he takes lessons or takes a course on how to become a caregiver, and he takes a job taking care of this kid with muscular dystrophy. And in building their relationship, he finds that the kid really likes these like roadside attractions and things like that. And some discourse happens. They end up going on a road trip, and in that road trip, they run into a hitchhiker who's Selena Gomez, plays character Dot. And it's basically seeing all these characters interact and seeing where they are at their point in their life and how that affects the other person. So with that being said, have any of you ever been in moments like that or trips like that where you were, in the car with people you might not really know that well, but you were in there for a long period of time?
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I'm from New York. Hitchhiking, that's some shit you don't do. So I'm gonna say no. That sounds like a Midwest type of deal or West Coast stuff.
Well, I mean, not necessarily hitchhike. Chris, you ever been on a road trip with you going on a road trip with friends and then they bring another friend along that you don't really know?
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I've done where I've been in a group road trip where I'm like, I don't know about these guys.
Yeah.
But that's just life, man.
I feel like I have, but I can't think of a time right now.
Well, I mean, I remember when we went to Gatlinburg and we had, I think it was the first time you and Dustin really spent time around each other and shit like that.
Okay, you know what? Well, okay, I guess you can say that because when I met him before, we was at the amusement park. So yeah, I guess you can say that. But I was already kind of I guess this is the way I operate. If I'm with my friends, I know they're my friends, and they bring somebody, then I feel like they're gonna automatically be cool. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because birds of a feather flock together. Now we
Yeah.
all have our different traits, but we all have
Yeah.
that inner core that is almost the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
but yeah, Dustin is
yeah.
that's my guy. He's cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when the last time Chris brought someone around me, they may or may not have went home with a black eye, courtesy of a drop kick at a club, but
Yeah,
that was an accident.
Yeah, yeah.
My man
yeah.
out here drop kicking people at clubs.
Yeah,
Man,
he was
you
doing the
live an
wrestling
interesting
move.
life.
Bro,
Doing the
we used
wrestling
to
move.
battle. We used to battle in the club, and Chris don't know how to clear a wall. So that's all I'm saying.
This is one time where I'll say maybe I blended in because it was a club. You know what I'm saying? I should have smiled more. What you want me to do?
But Mikaze, I feel like you have the most experience of people because although you the people that you travel with for work, you know somewhat, but then there's sometimes where it's a whole bunch of new employees and you kind of like got to sit there and kind of like figure it out, or you just have your own routine when it comes to that.
Well, I think in meeting new people, it's depending on where you're meeting them. Again, if you're like Chris said, if you're in a road trip and one of your friends brings a friend along, clearly you're going to be working off of the what is it called, the word of your friend. Essentially, if he gives a stamp to that person, then all right, we're cool. Like it is what it is. You're coming in, you get 100% respect until you don't, until you ask for disrespect. In a work setting, especially with what I do, it's like, that's such a niche world that when someone steps into that world, it's almost like you just gotta welcome them in with open arms, because there's not a lot of people who can really, understand what goes on in that world. So the more people you can talk to who can relate, I just think it makes for a better, experience.
It's funny now that you're bringing it up. Now, the weirdest situation I've had that I had to deal with somebody that necessarily wasn't unknown to me, but was more co-signed by somebody in the oddest of places. I ended up being, don't ask me why, and I'm not going to use names. I ended up being the best man at somebody's wedding.
What?
I ended up being a friend of the groom, and the best man that he chose last minute ended up being one of these guys that are very flaky.
Yeah.
And because I was seen as a responsible one, and I was close enough to to the groom in the relationship that they asked me last minute to take these duties. And then it created an awkward situation because the guy knew that he'd been replaced, but he still wanted to go to the bachelor party thing. And it was weird. Like, I kind of knew the guy that was the best man, and he brought this homeboy who all I can remember had a knapsack. And we went to DC for the bachelor party events. And this dude kept going like, yo, I rented a room near DC. We don't even need to go out. We could go hang out there. And, now that Diddy has been indicted with so many things, like, it gives me so many Diddy vibes. It was like, yo, we hit a bar, we're having a good time, and we're like, yo, let's go to the next bar. And it was like, nah, man, I got this room, dog. We could go over there. We can invite people. And I'm like, yo, bro.
Chris, you ever been at like a hotel party like that?
Yeah, I actually threw one.
Maybe y'all met before, y'all just didn't realize it.
Oh man. I know. No, yeah, I definitely can't disclose names of what happened in this party. But it was it was wild.
Yeah.
It was wild.
I've never been in a hotel party before. So.
Same. I've never either. And I've always found it weird, not in the fact that you're throwing a hotel party. It's like there's so many rules when you stay at a hotel. So wherever I stay, you can't just party. Like, you know what I mean? You can't like have music and mad people because that's how you get kicked out of a hotel. So the fact that this person, number one, that I met that night, didn't even know his name by the end of the night, kept every conversation you had with him was like, oh man, we having fun. And then he'll be like, he'll wait and then be like, but you know where we can have fun. And I was just like, yo, is he trying to set us up? Like, I kept talking to the dude that brought him along. What's up with your man? And then he's like, I don't know what's up. But then he also kept saying, but yo, he does have a room.
Yeah, that does sound kind of suspect. Keep bringing it up. You know what I'm saying?
All right, speaking of suspect, could one of y'all take a job wiping people's asses?
Here's the fun thing about me is when I was out of high school, and in high school, I did that. I worked for United Cerebral Palsy. I was a TA, a teacher's assistant for kind of individuals. Usually, cerebral palsy is different, but you can have a muscular dystrophy where you need assistance in the restroom, and it's a labor of love. No matter how much they pay you, it was like I worked there for 4 years, 2 years in high school and 2 years after, and it was a decent job. I ended up, doing driving more than anything afterwards, but it is a rough job, bro. Like if I used to have like nightmares as an adult that I would wake up and I would still have to go to work there. I wouldn't do that now, but I was grateful for my time there because,
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure a job like that like builds character, right, Chris? Like, Chris, you've done bounced around different jobs. Like, do you have a job like that where like, maybe
But when I worked at the VA with all the older veterans, and, some of them are crazy, and you clean shit off a wall and everything else.
well,
it was definitely nasty.
that's a different story. You provide, it's like a school setting. You provide aid for people, and it was rotational. It was like twice a month you had to work the bathroom, and there's no way to get around. It's a tough job. You gotta you know what I mean. Like I have aunts and uncles that because they're residents and immigrants, and those are jobs that they still do to this day.
Yeah,
and it's like my mom had a caregiver her last few years of her life, so it's a tough job. It's one of those jobs, man, that if you don't have the right mindset, you're not gonna like it, or but it's a needed job, brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, anybody that does it, I actually tip my hat off to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I say I never could do it. Do I want to do it? Of course not.
Yeah. That being said, I would never go back and do that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a joke with my wife. I'm older than her, and I'm like, if you ever need one, you know what? I'll do it.
Nah.
But after a certain while, I'm gonna pay somebody.
Yeah, I'm like, if you ever need one, I put a lot of money aside, so I'm going to movies.
No, oh shit.
Literally. Oh shit.
Oh man. Oh man.
But I mean, okay, so this movie had a specific type of humor to it, right?
Yeah.
And it was very dry, but like very, very nuanced. It wasn't like slapsticky, Like did you guys gravitate toward the humor in this movie, or was it like not your style? That's my dryer, dog.
Okay,
Told you.
What was that?
Oh man.
This
man right here. There it is. The first technical difficulty.
That ain't no. That's polluted sound. That ain't technical difficulties.
Look.
Makazi's is drying his silk underwear, so it's all good. Everybody.
I'm surprised he had one of his relatives press it, iron it, starch it.
Listen. I don't. First of all, I don't trust any of my brothers with iron. Okay?
I met your other relatives. You all look alike.
Damn.
We make the clothes. We don't wash them. We're working in the factory, not the dry clean. So the humor in this movie, I liked it a lot because it was. I feel like this is the kind of humor slightly dark. Mm-hmm. Like slightly like, hey man, if you don't know the person, like the character, what is it? Who's the kid in the wheelchair? What was his name in the movie?
His name
Trevor.
And the actor's name is Craig.
Yeah, his sense of humor, like I feel like that's like my kind, because like if you don't know me, I might come across as an asshole,
Yeah.
Clearly, if you listen to this podcast, you know. But like, to me, it just says something about a relationship when you can have that kind of humor with someone or sense of humor with someone, and they just, they accept it because that's our form of communication. Like, do you guys communicate through humor?
Oh, definitely. I mean, life should be fun. If you can't laugh at yourself and the dumb shit you do, then nothing else will be funny to you, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We say it all the time. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But,
I legit, that's sarcasm is my quote unquote love language. Dry humor, the better. It's funny when I meet people initially, I gauge them and then I throw a jab here and now and there. Like me and Makazi, the more we chill, the more and more I quote unquote we dig at each other, but
Yeah.
it's like I I married a wonderful woman that I realized that some of my sarcasm is a little bit too much in certain situations
You
where she
hurting her
goes like
feelings?
really, and I'm like, oh shit, my bad.
Oh shit.
Uh,
No, I don't know. Like I feel like yeah, especially in life, if you take life gets so crazy. Again, look at this movie. You got a kid who was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. He's in a wheelchair, right? His goal, one of his dreams in life is to stand up and pee, right?
mhm.
And if you sit there and focus on that, you got nothing, you got nowhere to go but down. It's just you're just going to be down the entire entirety of your life. And no, I think if you approach these kind of moments with humor and just looking at the situation, being like, yeah, like I got to find things to laugh at, it just makes life a lot more palatable.
Yeah, and that's what made Selena Gomez character Dot more lovable and a great character is because she
Really?
didn't see
I thought
Trevor
it was
for
her
his.
jeans.
What's up?
I said, really? I thought it was her jeans.
She was looking thick in this movie.
But not like super. She was looking like old Selena Gomez. I don't know, bro. She's a child. I don't look at her like that. But no, it was like she treated Trevor like a regular person,
Yeah.
giving him shit. Like the first conversation that they had in the diner, like Paul Rudd was like, "Oh shit," he tried to change the subject, but she was like, "Nah, we're gonna keep talking about this dude's dick for no reason."
Yeah.
All right. What's the last uncomfortable conversation you had with someone? Marcos, you go first, since you're the special guest.
Last uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah.
It comes with and this is not necessarily, it's something that just stayed in my mind. When somebody is going through a situation, and then they reach out to you for financial help.
Hey, don't worry. That's listen. Just I'm DMX over here. I'm
This
DMX.
guy.
No, no little ass fucking. No, don't you ever
Hey,
my guy
no,
like
no,
that.
no. Little dogs count, man. I got a little dog too.
I know.
Look, no,
Just
look,
because
I got
your
I got
dog's
two
doing
pits.
25 to life. That's what.
I got two pits. All right, don't disrespect DMX like that.
Yeah, yeah.
He-
Your
When's
dog
your
is-
mixtape coming out, Chris?
I know.
You got 2 pits.
I was working on it this morning.
Chris' dog's been doing UFC for the last 5 years
Oh
with
man,
deer and whatever else is in the yard.
for real.
But the last conversation is always when somebody reaches out to you that you haven't been that close to in a while, and then has an expectation of you need to help them.
Yeah.
In a certain
Hmm.
situation that leaves, and I'm a person, I don't know if you know, I'm a very nice guy and I avoid confrontation.
Mhm.
But there's sometimes you just got to be like, nah, man, like I understand this is what you perceive that, I'm your parachute, but I got life too. I
Yeah.
can't just, and that's, I think any conversation when it comes to money is a weird conversation to have to anybody, especially if you don't trust them that much or if you barely know them. That and like, again, you could put it under the money umbrella. Like, in my full-time job, I've had to let people go, and that's very uncomfortable. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, to the point that led me to leave the position that I have to not be a direct supervisor, to be more a man on his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sucks.
What you, Chris?
That's a comfort conversation.
Yo, hold on. Marcos, what's wrong with your camera? I mean, is your can green or something? Because every time you pick it up, it gets the background.
Yes.
Oh, that should
Oh,
look like, yeah.
No, sure it does. Okay.
Light green. And it tastes like shit. Do not get Fusion energy drink from 7-Eleven. The citrus flavor is horrible. I'm sorry if I ruined this as a sponsor possibly for you, but I'm cheap as hell. I opened it and I'm going to drink it fully. And every single time I go,
Oh
like
man.
rich.
All right,
Oh,
Chris, what about
man.
you, Chris?
Honestly speaking, man, probably just with myself. But the last month or so, things I had to change up and what I had to do, and just be real with me and the people that I'm close to. Like, hey, I need some help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like to be that vulnerable and put myself out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go into details, but you know what I'm talking about.
Nah,
Yeah,
nah,
yeah,
nah.
Yeah.
Go into details right now. Nah, I 100% respect that. Yo,
Yeah.
going into a situation that you got to be real with yourself,
Hmm.
and sometimes you're not ready. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I believe honestly. You know what? That's probably the most uncomfortable thing that you can do is having an honest conversation with yourself
Hmm.
about your shortcomings and what you need help with, and that's very humbling.
Well, I
No,
mean,
yeah.
I think for me, it's having an honest conversation with someone you consider a friend, and in that conversation, you come to that line where you're like, hey, if I say this next thing, like, it's completely honest, true, heartfelt, but if I say this, we might not be friends no more. But it
Mm.
has to be said because if you don't say it, you ain't being a real friend. You ain't being,
Mhm.
you ain't being that person you want to be. So in those moments, you got to be like, all right, like, how do I approach this? Do I just come out bluntly, or do I, try to sugarcoat it? And for me, I'm gonna say it how I want to say it, and however you receive it is just how it's gonna be. But I feel like in doing that, you uphold this level of honesty in your life that someone can look at you and however they feel towards you,
Mhm.
they understand that everything you've said, like, you truly believe and you only have that person's like best interest in mind.
Let me ask you this real quick, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
Obviously, Mark, you said you're married. I know Ciroc got some type of special
Married,
arrangement.
divorce, all that stuff. I got,
This is my second marriage, so
Hey,
I
hey, listen,
completed my first one.
we don't want to talk about Chris's, Chris got,
I completed my first one.
yeah.
you completed it.
Yeah, I finished the game. I finished the game, and then I was like, all right,
Contract was over.
yeah, contract was over. I became a free agent.
Oh, there you go. But now, one thing I was actually going to talk to my wife, and she was like, I don't talk to her the same way I talk to Ciroc and my other boys. And my response was, because you can't take it. And I was like, I said, plus I look at you differently. I'm not going to be as raw with you as I am with them. And if I am, I'm going to do it different
Yeah.
because, those are my boys. I could talk to them, fuck this, bitch that, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if I do that and I know that's just part of my character, it's going to come off extra disrespectful.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I think, and it's funny because I've had a lot of experience with that. I think it's tough, man, when you share a life with somebody, especially your partner, whether you're married or not, and you closeness. There is a ratio in terms of need and want. And
Mm.
if you request more than they're willing to give or share too much with them, then it becomes a deficit. I think honestly that's what friends and therapy is for you to ask honest questions. And honestly, as a man, we compartmentalize things so that way, we can live in peace.
Yeah.
Because typically another man will judge another man for them speaking their feelings on something that person that you might be talking to might be feeling the same thing and doesn't have an outlet to talk to.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that's how men bond. And again, this is not a blanket statement. And certain people, when they're in relationships, they take things personal.
Oh
Like
yeah.
if you this is a small example. If you have a situation where quote unquote you're not being satisfied in whatever way by your partner, and you bring that up to them, where you see it as a moment that you want to like explain and expand and begin a dialogue, that person might not be ready, whether
Yeah.
it's emotional, sexual, or financial, whatever, because certain people have an expectation. If they're cool, they don't want things to change. So I
Yeah,
100% see that.
Mhm.
yeah. All right. Well, I mean, this is a talk like this is exactly like the title of this movie, The Fundamentals of Caring. Because, the idea of caring, some people think caring means making another person happy all the time or making them, feel good all the time. But I don't know. I think sometimes caring is actually like, again, just being honest with the person. And sometimes that, that level of care ends up being very brutal in an emotional kind of way. Right.
Mhm.
Because, like, I mean, would you, if I see you doing some heinous shit and you're my best friend and I don't say nothing, do I really care about your well-being?
That right there.
So that's
Like
what I mean.
that.
Like,
Listen, in my
Like
opinion, no.
yeah.
I've lost friendships, and friendships have gotten strained over the fact that I'm brutally honest. I'm like, I'm not here to be part of your fan club. I'm your fan regardless because you're my homie. But if I see you fucking up, I'm gonna be like, hey, bro, that's not cool, or like you should probably think about what the consequences or whatever. And this is coming from a judgment-free zone, not like, oh, I'm trying to big brother you or I know best. It's like, nah, like, I know you just like you know me, and I wouldn't want you to call me out on bullshit. And not to shame you, it's to be like, yo, let's sit. Why are you doing this, or why this is occurring or whatever? And to be honest, the way things are in 2024, some people are not ready for that. And then you notice when you give them the hard advice or the tough love, like Mikaze was saying, they pull back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then what I do is, depending on the person, I either give them the advice or I just go, man, that's dope. Like, oh, I like that for you. And I just like,
I mean, but also you got to know, like for instance, okay, Marcus, it's our first time. If I saw something that might be like a hinder to you, I'm not gonna come to you and say it because I don't feel like I know you that well enough yet. But I might let Sarat know, hey, you might want to tell him about this because it don't look good. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like if I come to you, you like, who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just met you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
but some
Chris, that's why I be telling you to put them pork chops down all the time, bro. I'm
they
looking out.
happening.
I'm
They
looking out.
happening.
Them truck stop pork chops.
Nah.
damn from a truck stop.
Look, those
I
some
don't
bitches
even
are
know
good.
when you get those.
Those some bitches. Look, I'm in the South, baby. They everywhere. Every Chevron, every show. Some hot
Really?
sauce. Yes. Man, you think I'm playing. Come to Alabama and just stop at a gas station, some crispy, crunchy chicken.
No,
But it's like,
I'm gonna be honest. Last time I was visiting Chris in Alabama, this is back when he lived in Tuscaloosa. He took me to a Chevron. Might be some of the best barbecue I've had.
it's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah, I bought it. It was right next. They sold it right next to the motor oil. It was good.
I mean, we have some of the finest Baltimore chicken in a gas station called Royal Farms up here. So,
Oh yeah, I know Royal
Okay.
Farms.
Okay.
Yeah.
so, but like,
All right, hold. Speaking of gas stations, right? One of the aspects of this movie that kind of the biggest aspect is the road trip. They go on a road trip because Trevor, one of his he just has this love for roadside, stops and like these small little landmarks that some people might just push off as like just hey, I'm gonna bypass that and go to my destination. But I feel like those kind of stops that's what makes the trip, right?
yeah, when
What
I
do y'all
was a
think?
kid, we used to do that.
Like
Those
what was
those
your
are
favorite
memorable.
road trip as a kid, Marcos?
Favorite road trip as a kid was a trip that we used to make from almost yearly from New York,
Chuck E.
Queens,
Cheese.
New York. No, this fucking guy to Orlando, and like it was back in the day. I remember my mom and dad, they had a van like with a conversion bed in the back,
Oh, the Econo lines. Yeah, okay, I got you.
and they used to make those like the straight trip. Like nobody, it was like, and then we'll stop and like south of the border. That was always a big thing
Yeah.
for me
Hmm.
because I used to pick up novelty tees because as a kid you were like, yo, I can't find these t-shirts. As an adult, you just realize that every single place that has a stop or makes those tees. But that was a highlight for me. You know what I mean?
How about you, Chris?
As a kid,
Oh,
shoot.
just in general. What's been your favorite road trip? And the thing is, it's different for you because you was a truck driver for so long.
Yeah, I was to say.
Yeah.
I was to say, truck driving on the road was I had my fun. I
Mhm.
mean,
I know.
I mean,
Lizards all day.
any iguanas, any iguanas.
Out here with some Komodo dragons.
Is this man talking about pork chops again?
No. There's this thing called lot lizard. Do you know what a lot lizard is?
Yes, I've heard about it through pop culture. I've never been a truck driver, but
Yeah.
I heard a lot lizard is gender fluid. So
Yeah, Chris. Gender fluid.
Nah, actually, in all my crazy days of trucking, I actually never did any of that. But just stopping at different places. Like I love stopping somewhere new and just trying a local restaurant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The different sites I see. Like one of my favorite road trips I took was from Oklahoma to California.
Okay.
And-
Damn. How long was that?
But that sounds like a fun trip.
Yeah.
Well, I was in a truck, but it was a good little grip, especially the truck carrying fucking 80,000 pounds. So
Yeah.
you know, a lot of it was flat until I got to Arizona. And oh my good God, go to Phoenix. But once you get in there and you start seeing the rocks and everything from Wile E. Coyote and everything,
Yeah.
and you no, I'm so serious. That's all I can compare it. You know?
Hey, yeah, if
Insert
anyone's
a
listening,
clip.
and when anyone's listening, if you under the age of 35, Wile E. Coyote was a cartoon.
but but yeah, like when you cross over that mountain, so to speak, then you got nothing but desert, and you see the rocks, and you got the moon. So I had to stop and pull over. I'm like, yo, this shit's actually beautiful. It comes to America, you know what I mean? But I guess that was it for me. Just stopping and just trying different foods. Honestly, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, every year I do a Christmas road trip. I always drive from Orlando back home. I mean, I've instituted that rule: no more than 4 hours driving a day, stopping in little random places, finding dog parks, just doing some sightseeing. Because it's like, if I'm gonna dedicate this much time to being on the road, just being somewhere in general, I'm gonna see like where I'm going. I don't want to. I've driven that straight shot 21-hour drive from Orlando to Massachusetts before, and I can do it, but like. You're missing out. It's like that. It's like Cars, the movie Cars. So you gotta slow down and see the road, see the world that you're living in, because next thing you know, that shit just passes you by. You just want to be on that expressway. You're so worried about the destination that you forget about the journey.
But see, I love driving. So
yeah, driving is amazing. I guess as in my younger days, like I just want to get to my destination. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what the drive was. And then after truck driving, like I told you, I actually want to go through a whole West Coast trip, start from Nevada, California up to Oregon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like hit the coast and just go, and just don't have no time limit. Just drive and see what you see, eat what you eat. Do what you do. Yeah. Because I learned to appreciate it after truck driving.
Yeah. You guys is there a specific roadside attraction that you guys have ever stopped at where you're like, God damn, like I never would have saw this if I didn't just take this road trip?
Honestly, there's been so many, and this is gonna sound like really fat. Like the first time I had cookout. First time I had cookout, I was like, "Yo, I gotta stop."
Oh man,
shit.
Like it's true, but like one of the things on my list of things to do, like a friend of me and Mikazi Megaran. Like I told them that I would love to do a trip from Arizona to LA or Vegas, just because I feel like that drive will be amazing. And he's probably done it a million times, but I want to do it like ain't got to be there in a couple hours. Like I want to do it and just spread it out.
Well, fuck yeah. I've done that drive a couple of times. You can make that stop in Palm Springs. You can go to Joshua Tree. It's good. But I've always ended up doing it at night. So like I've never really gotten to do it during the day, but I could imagine when it's like during the day. And one of my favorite trips I did with Ryu, I went from Napa down PCH all the way down to LA. And like there was one spot, and I never forget this. It was probably about an hour between towns. And you're just on a single road highway. We're coming around, there's a cliff on the side. We're coming around the bend. And as we come around the bend, there's just vans and vans, like maybe like 30 or 40 vans lined up along the side of the highway. And I was like, what the fuck are all these doing down here? And I come around the corner, I end up looking down the cliff, and you just see all these surfers just lined up at the beach about surfing on these waves. And like, there's nothing else around. So these people purposely took the trip out into the middle of nowhere because they're like, yo, these are where the good waves are. That's the shit I want to fucking do. Yeah.
Almost had a technical difficulty. My laptop wasn't plugged in, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute!"
Racist ass laptop. That's what it is.
Wow,
it's like too many black people.
No, my laptop is fine now. My laptop is. So what I ended up doing is I just wired my monitor to my laptop instead of.
No, I said too much black going on. It's like black shirt, black hat, black skin over there. I can't tell
no.
Black
I
middle. What's going on here?
The logo because I went to plug in the computer to make sure it doesn't die. So I don't hear Mikazi's mouth about it.
Oh man.
So I mean, one of the central aspects of this movie is essentially every character in the movie was kind of, I want to say, running away from something, right? You had Paul Rudd, who's kind of running away from, the failure of his marriage. He at one point he lost a child and he felt very,
So what do you think about that reveal?
Oh, how they showed how his kid died?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I understand. Like I the character that Paul Rudd was playing, I completely understand. I would have probably been a hermit because he was blaming himself and all this.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Listen, I'm gonna be real like vulnerable right now. I don't know what I'd do without my dog. So I could imagine losing a child. All right.
Mm.
Ryu, he's great. A little asshole sometimes, but he's awesome. And I don't know what I'd do without him. But if I had a child, like something that came from my own loins, fucking my soldier then climbed into an egg and you spawned out. Of course, I'm gonna.
If a kid with a samurai sword and cut himself in, he climbed in there.
Nah, he went in.
You saw Deadpool?
Bro, that sperm went into that egg like Astro Man, just like.
So you see Deadpool pop them buttery nuts up in there. Came out like, "What's up, Doc?"
Ooh, I've been waiting for this.
In your case, it'd be soy sauce nuts.
No, but I mean, like, do you ever got to a point in your life where you kind of like felt like you were running away from something and you had to, like Chris said, be honest with yourself about this is where I am at this point in my life. You're kind of faced with that fork in the road and you have that choice. You could either go towards that thing you're avoiding, i.e. Trevor going to see his dad who left when he was 3, or you could just keep going in the direction you're going.
I personally think that as an individual, I think we run away from things every day. Like honestly, like we're constantly doing it, and it's a human trait to avoid something that we don't want to face head on right then and there.
Yeah,
it's like whether it is simple as like, oh, I'm gonna cut out sugar or whatever, something from your diet, to like, oh man, like if you're a person that has a child that, like, in Trevor's dad's situation, that he just couldn't deal with it and he's gonna act like Trevor didn't exist and just go on with his life because it was inconvenient. Like, there's things, we can see that happen in everyday life. Like, I know, like, I've been there myself where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go hang out. I got my last few dollars and I worry about getting more money the next day or something crazy like that. You know what I mean? Like it's something that happens on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll get, like, typical for me, like I've been a bigger guy, but I've carried less weight and I'm always like, oh, I'll hit the gym tomorrow. Like stuff like that you prolong and you run away from. But I think this movie perfectly depicts, like, even in the poster, I don't know if you see Paul Rudd facing this way, Selena Gomez's character facing this way, and then Trevor's in the middle. They're all avoiding the camera, and they're all like facing different paths because it's kind of like an allegory to the movie itself. They're trying to ignore what's in front of them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How about you, Chris? You ever got to a point where you was running away from something besides the scale?
I want you to be fat one day. One day, Makai.
Bro, I am fat right now, bro. You don't understand.
Look,
two episodes ago.
You see this dude back in high school? You wouldn't know who he was.
Bro, I know. Yeah, bro. I look like thick Mowgli.
Man. Actually, I've always had this saying for myself. I've always felt like I was running away from something, but chasing something at the same time, and I can't reach either one of them. Like, I can't get away and I can't catch it.
Okay.
I just never knew what that something was, but that's what I've always felt in my life. You know what I mean?
Did you ever felt like, because you didn't face that thing you were running away from, that was the reason why you weren't able to catch what you were trying to catch?
I actually never looked at it like that.
Yeah.
I guess my biggest thing is because I never knew what I was running away from.
I mean, I was over here dropping knowledge.
Well, okay. So this is gonna be real like niche. But you ever watched that TV show Nickelodeon Guts back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had this game where they put the bungee on your back, and you had to run it forward and try to grab the fucking the pad or
the
something.
ball, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
So essentially, like that, like you're running trying to get this ball, but you got this thing holding you back that you don't want to turn around and just go unlatch, or you can't go around, turn around, unlatch. But until you let go of that, you're never gonna reach this thing that you want so much. And I feel like that happens a lot in life because, like, again, they say, certain things don't happen in life until you're ready for it. And sometimes being ready for something is once you let go of all that other bullshit that you have behind you,
That is 100% correct.
Yeah.
I think us as human beings, we always assume that we have more time. When I was younger, I used to put off a lot of stuff. And then when you realize, like, I'm 43 and I'm getting in an age where people's parents are dying and people having kids or whatever. And it's like, case in point, and I'm going to get personal with my dad. Like, I never had issues with my dad, but me and him had like a 4 or 5 year period where we really didn't talk too much because, my dad was in his own world, you know how parents are. And then come COVID, he passed. And although I know he knows that I loved him and I knew he loved me, it was like we never had a conversation that I was avoiding. And I was like, oh, I'll just call him whenever. Now it's like when you pick him up and I'm like, I don't know how other people are. I still have his and my mom's phone number saved. And sometimes when you look into your contact, you're like, man, what would I give to like pick up the phone and talk to them and kind of resolve things that were left unsaid. But as humans, we always put everything off. Like, oh, tomorrow.
Can I ask you something, Marcos? You don't gotta if you want to answer, by all means, go for it. If you don't want to, I respect it. Obviously I don't know your situation with your parents, but I've actually known people where actually they had issues with their parents and actually reached out to try to resolve it, but the parents don't really care. Was your situation something like that, or you really don't know?
No. So my parents divorced when I was young, when I was like in my teens, and then it's like me being a mama's boy. I was very close to my mom, and I wouldn't say I wasn't close to my dad, but it's like when that's not your main parent, it's like when you visit them, and even as an adult, like the conversations become like irrelevant, or like I remember when I was like 24. Like I went in his house and he was like, yo, I hope you ain't hanging out on the corners in the street. I'm like, bro, like I'm not in high school. I'm like a grown ass man that has a job. And it wasn't like he didn't care. I just knew that he didn't have the capacity to have a real conversation, to talk about my childhood and everything and all that stuff, because I know things were difficult between him and my mom. But to answer your question, long and short of it is no. Fortunately, I never had that issue, but I've seen that.
Okay.
Parents are like, nah, you're wrong. And like, I see what happens to their kid, and it's like, oh man, like you can't be thick-headed to the point that it's something that I just sit there and I'm like, things not to do.
Yeah. Okay.
If I have children, you know what I mean? Like keep an open mind. Like, yo, I'm gonna be honest, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, my mindset is completely different now as I get older, because life experiences, brother.
See, that's what I thought. I mean, the older you get, obviously you're supposed to get a little smarter, at least get some wisdom. And then, like I said, no names was disclosed, but I was actually trying to mediate a situation. And the dad was like, I'm too stubborn to even try. And I'm like, you actually gonna say that? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
If you can say you too stubborn to try, that means you recognize your shortcomings. Now
That's a big step.
You taking that step. Okay, I already recognize it. Now go change it. I think some people avoid changing it, and this is just a blanket statement, but I think some people avoid changing it because they're afraid that they can't change it, or they're afraid they're going to try to change it and they're going to fail, But I think for some people, for kids, for other people in relationships, I feel like making that attempt, well, it's just that's the snowball that kicks everything off in order to maybe change everything else around so that it ends up making the change for them,
But I feel like as a child, though, it's such a big letdown.
Oh man,
when you try to
hold on. I don't know if you noticed, Chris.
What happened?
We had some technical difficulties.
Nah,
I saw that. You froze, bro. You look like
that was y'all. Nah.
Oh no. You look like looking like Big Pun sitting there just.
Oh, you gotta do the rock with it. You know what I'm saying? He was doing it. Boricua.
And then you gotta ride in on the moped.
Oh man, you know what? Ever since he made that video, I've never rode mopeds because that's the first thing people are gonna say. Like, God damn it!
Well, it's 2024. You get away with it now. People do all kinds of shit.
But no, just in the movie, we had that example happen. Like again, when Trevor went to go meet his dad, his dad was like, I didn't really think it was a good idea to write letters. So Trevor's mom wrote the letters and then signed it.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And then motherfucker thought, hey man, hey, here's $150. Come on, really? You think that's gonna make up for you walking out on your kid? Oh, $150? You sit here in your own car lot?
I mean, walking out was bad enough, but when you tell your kid, I didn't write these mom did. God damn.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I told her I didn't really think it would be a good idea to write. I was like, God, man, listen, I feel blessed in having a dad that I had. I'm sure I got my ass whooped when I was younger, and it's fucked up because we was the same height, but But you know, at least my dad was always there. Like I did until I was in my early to mid 20s. I never realized the gems and the knowledge that my dad was leaving, like instilling in me, until I started to go do certain things, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember my dad did this. I remember, like, the lessons came because they were, ingrained in me.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm.
But yeah, I thought that part that was low. I'm like, damn, talk about put fuel on the fire.
Yeah.
Just go tell straight to his side, right? He's like, God,
I don't know if I was his dad, if I would have said that I didn't write those letters.
No.
Like, what did he expect him to say? To be like, oh, I understand, dog, my bad.
Yeah, I can't use my hands, so we good. You can't write either. Okay. But on the other on the same token, you had Selena Gomez's dad, who was kind of tailing them and driving from behind, not letting them know that like he was following along, but he was making an attempt to either repair a relationship or to be the dad that he wants to be. He's just not good at it yet, so he's just making that attempt. How would you feel if your dad made the attempt but just kept fucking up?
I don't think
we're not perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that a child realizes that until they get older.
Yeah.
And then they can look back and be like, you know what? Yeah, my dad wasn't perfect, but he was actually trying.
Yeah.
And then they hate themselves for not giving him the chance to try or even recognize it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that part in the movie, when they should all run away from something, her realization that she's running too, and her dad's there.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let me try to figure this out real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It took her seeing Trevor's situation to realize that she was taking her dad for granted. Yeah. But otherwise, it's just a perfect case of what I like to call in every movie a teenager teenaging. In every horror movie, that's typically always the MacGuffin.
Like the white person falling?
Huh?
White person tripping and falling?
No, it's
Black
even worse.
Dying?
No, it's like in a horror movie that involves a family, 99.9% of times, or any movie that there's a conflict, it involves a teenager doing something stupid that adults have to deal with it. Go back and watch that movie with Chris Hemsworth, the one where he's the military guy that Netflix. It's one of my favorite movies.
Extraction?
Yes, part 2.
But you were just talking about horror movies. I was trying to figure out Chris Hemsworth horror movie did you watch?
I changed it. Okay. I changed it to include all movies.
Okay.
And it's like literally the most irritating thing to me always is a teenager acting like a teenager. If you remember Extraction 2, the whole movie was straight until spoiler alert, the movie's out for like 2 years at this point. When the young son calls his uncle from the sat phone, they were home free. Yeah. Literally, every person that died after that moment was that little kid's fault. And it's like to the point that I'm like, yo, you gotta shoot him in the knee. Do something. Like, you gotta remember this choice.
You gotta shoot a kid in the knee?
Hey, I don't care, bro. He messed everything up.
Huh. I never seen Extraction 2, but now I want to watch it.
Extraction's dope.
Oh my god,
it's actually really fucking good.
The first one is amazing. The second one is even better. But it's like there's a point in that movie. I literally, if I was in the movie and I was one of the guys when they realized that it was a kid, I would have turned to him and be like, "Pa, now the limp that you're gonna have the rest of your life is so you know never to do this stupid shit ever again." When the weather changes and you're like, my leg hurts, you'll think about what happened here today.
Thinking about doing stupid shit. I mean, nope, not doing it.
Like, and back to the horror. Like one of the horror movies that I think was called The Red Door.
Yeah, Insidious.
Was happening. Yeah, it was the son. It was the kid.
Yeah. The kids are always the ones going. Well, just in general, in a lot of horror movies, the kids are always the ones going and like trying to fucking investigate and do some random shit. You got this, like, I forget what movie it was, but they rented some house they were moving into some house in Spain, whatever. It was like some old ass decrepit, like old church or old castle, whatever. And they moved in there, and like for some reason, the daughter was just being a teenager.
You told that movie with Russell Crowe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The daughter's just like, I hate this place. I'm gonna, whatever. And I'm like, why are you acting like this right now? Like, clearly everybody's dealing with this fucking fucked up looking house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
it's there's so many like this. I'm looking for a Reddit thread because there's always a Reddit thread for everything, and it's like it's always a kid. It's
Yeah.
always a kid, whether it's through and it's here's the Evil Dead, the Evil Dead Rising.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I think that was it.
Kids.
I think that was it. Yeah, I think it was Evil Dead Rising.
What they had to go downstairs and he sees a record and the record says devil something. He's like, oh, let's go ahead and pump this shit on. Let's put this bitch on. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah. Well,
Teenagers be teenaging, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
speaking of teenagers, like, you know, Trevor was very good with the pranks, right? Like him and Paul Rudd were going at each other with their little pranks.
Yeah.
What's the most fucked up but funny prank you guys have pulled off?
Does it have to be something that you pulled off or you witnessed?
Oh, you could witness it.
So, oh my God. And I really hope you don't clip this and put this on Instagram.
You see, you can't say that. You can't say that because then I'm probably gonna. But go ahead.
Shit. And for those that will probably see this when I repost it, you know, I'm not using names. But back when I was young, I was like 13, 14. This is back in the first social media days, back when people were on like AIM and all that stuff. For those who are children, AIM is AOL Instant Messenger. That's why it's called AIM. It's an acronym for it. These dudes pranked one of their cousins and had him meet this chick that they've been talking to as him in our neighborhood park. And I didn't know what was happening until we were on the way to go watch this kid meet this person. And then, like, in hindsight, it was probably one of the cruelest, saddest things I ever seen. The kid showed up with flowers, dressed up.
Damn.
And then, like, it was like a solid, sad 45 minutes that we waited, like, in a car across the street. And, like, he kept calling the phone number that was given. And then, like, after the fact, like, we all jumped out. And I was an unwilling participant at the end. It was like, we got you, son. And I would never do this. I did not plan this. I was just the dude that was like, yo, we're going to go mess with this person today. You should come along. And I'm like, oh, what we gonna do? And then when I got there, it was like Seth Rogen and Step Brothers, and he was like, man, I don't know. The suits are kind of fucked up now. Like I was just like, oh man, like, and it's like it goes back to being like early 2000s humor. Like it was very fucked up what they did. And but yeah, that was probably, and I'm like, oh man, like. And again, if I was on his thing, I would shoot somebody in the kneecap and be like, then now, you'll never do this again.
How about Chris? What, you got any pranks?
I never really been a big prankster. So, I mean, I've done some fucked up shit, but it wasn't no prank.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, just here's a prescription. Go get this ointment. You'll be good. This
me and this Mexican dude. And you know the joke. What do you get when you got a black and Mexican? A natural born thief too lazy to do it. However, we weren't too lazy.
Yeah.
And we went around this other dude's room. I ain't gonna say we was or whatever. And then went and told the dude his room got robbed.
It's fucked up. That's like when people steal people's like TVs out their apartment. But yo, what the fuck happened? Oh shit, that's fucked up.
So yeah, that wasn't really a prank, but yeah, it was fucked up.
And I did one where I used to do this game where I would tell people, you know, you ain't shit. Just you come up to each other if I sneak up behind them. But yo, you ain't shit. And there was one time I had made, like, it was at WB, Cedric Alexander. I went and got a t-shirt made because he had just made the main roster. And I was like, yeah, I got this t-shirt made that said, you ain't shit. And I gave it to the merch guy. I was like, hey, can you call Cedric over and be like, hey, your first shirt, you finally made it to the main roster. You got your first shirt. And he walked over there and they pulled that shit out. He was like, motherfucker. Turned around. I'm sitting there across the gymnasium just laughing my ass off.
That is great.
I've done that so many times. I've handcuffed that dude to a chair and left him in the stands for 3 hours.
No, I remember you told me that joke, and then you made him go call him down to the ring. You had to take the chair with him.
Yeah, we made him call him down the ring to run through his entrance, but he was still handcuffed to the chair, so he had to carry like the 3 chairs down.
Oh man!
Oh shit!
Here I'm thinking this. I do stupid shit at work, and it's been a while. Like,
you work from home? What you doing stupid stuff? In the mirror?
No, like
Him
I
and
work
Doc.
IT, so you mess with people. So before the pandemic, like we used to, like there's a program that you could write and you could install a USB, and then every time somebody hit enter, and the program would just say, "Shit, man."
Oh shit!
So they will be writing an email. They'll hit enter and be like, "Shit, man," with an exclamation.
Damn.
No, it'll be like, hey man, I don't really like how we're handling this program. Shit, man. Like in his reply, it'd be like,
Wow.
That's funny. All right. Well, okay. So final thoughts on the fundamentals of caring. Marcos, you're the special guest. You go first.
I love it. I thought it was a good movie. I'm actually going to suggest it and watch it with the wife later on this week. I think it's a perfect vehicle for Paul Rudd. I like Selena Gomez in it. Definitely a must watch, you know, especially since it's on Netflix. And it's one of those movies that I think a lot of people haven't watched.
Yeah.
Because it's a Netflix exclusive. And back before Netflix was like, people were checking for any exclusive stuff that they dropped. So definitely go see it.
Chris?
Yeah, I actually thought it was a decent movie.
Hold on. No, man. No, you.
No, I did you hear me say I'm talking shit. I said it's actually a lot better than the other movie you picked.
He did say that. He did say that.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's I'd rather see Paul Rudd acting stuff like this than trying to get there. You know what I'm saying? But no, it was a decent movie, a decent watch. Not long at all. It was
like an hour and a half,
something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be like memorable for me, I guess, but it was still cool to watch. I don't feel like I wasted my time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those movies where, like, you don't know what to expect going into it, but like, when you're watching it, you're like, oh, like I actually really like this movie, or like it's actually really heartfelt. It's actually pretty similar to, I don't know if anyone's ever seen The Upside with Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston. Very similar story, but this one's like, if you took that kind of story and then like knocked the budget down a little bit, made it a little more intimate. No, I really liked it. I like, these are the kind of movies that I used to go watch when I was in Boston. I'd go to like Kenmore Square, the theater over there. It's like you're not gonna see them on like the major movie theaters or something like that, But I feel like movies like this they're because, again, this one's based on a book. Someone read the book and was like, man, this would make a really fucking good movie, and it's a labor of passion,
Yep.
Yeah, I do like the foundation of it, or I guess the bottom line to it all.
Yeah.
Where we discuss you can't run from everything forever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at some point, in order to move forward in your life, you gotta face the things that are uncomfortable with your past, or the things that you might be running away from. Because again, like Trevor, the entire movie, he didn't want to go see his dad, but then after being on the road and experiencing that thing, because remember, he was relegated to just his living room. He would go out, to the park once a week. So I think being on the road and finally getting out there, he's like, you know what, like, I gotta start living life the way it's meant to be lived.
Speaking of, real quick, I know we try to shut down. That's actually important. Like I heard people say this before. I know we discussed it. You never know who brings what to the table. Yeah. As long as you live inside your 4 walls, you're gonna keep eating one sausage and 2 pancakes your whole life. You know what I'm saying?
I never heard that. Did you come up with that?
Yeah, because that's all he would eat.
Hallmark card.
But that's all he would eat until he went on his date.
Yeah.
And he was like, shit, let me eat my waffles. I ate French toast. So how would you even know what French toast was? You know what I'm saying? Because you were so stuck in your own little world.
Yeah.
That you didn't realize there's other stuff out there. You know what I mean?
That's what I say with food, man. If people don't start trying different foods, you're never gonna know what you're gonna like. You might not like it, but at least you tried it,
At least you tried it, yeah.
Yeah. Marcos, we're gonna get you to try chicken dick.
What? No.
It tastes like chicken. Tastes like chicken.
He's not gonna let that go.
Come on. It tastes like chicken.
Oh God, no.
Y'all just don't even know, bro. I don't know.
So back to the movie.
Heat it up, it gets bigger.
The movie is sitting on a 78% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It was a Sundance movie entry as a closing night film, so it had a little juice behind it. And
Michael, try to stay focused, but I know you heard what you said.
yeah, I know he heard. I know what he said, but I'm gonna just not acknowledge it. And also, the production company, one of them is Worldwide Pants. If you like Late Night with David Letterman, that's his production company.
Okay.
With his partner Rob. So this movie is gonna be good, and I'm pretty sure after we get off here, Mikazi's gonna have a big old plate of chicken dicks.
Listen,
Dipped in some soy sauce.
tastes like chicken. That's what y'all don't get. All right, y'all don't worry about the wingette. Y'all don't eat the breast. All that, man. It's all chicken ass. All tastes like chicken.
Deep dive in here.
This is not
chicken
Norbit
anatomy for today. That's amazing.
This is the Norbit. The chicken ass Norbit. All right.
Oh, man.
Well, that's the latest episode of Sarat and Chris's Movie Therapy Podcast. Once again, it is your boy Sarat, aka Mikazi.
And your boy Chris Brown, aka Red Fort Delta. Marcos, good to have you.
Thank you.
Well, Mark, hey, don't make me sell y'all for parts. Marcos, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you, bro?
Marcos, aka at the Sunset Kid 56, or at Double Axe Handle on Instagram. By the time you guys listen to this, I would have been already through New York Comic Con. So if you could go back in time and see me at New York Comic Con, let me know.
Well, yeah, you can catch us on Instagram now, SC Movie Therapy.
Yes.
Also on TikTok. We got a new TikTok. Only got one video up right now, but I'll change that.
Are you going to start dancing on this TikTok?
Nah, bro, this is for the pocket. If you want to start dancing, we'll put you up there.
Nah, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Y'all can't handle me.
No, you gotta send us a video with you on a moped.
Nah, I'll be up there like Luigi from those Instagram videos dancing.
Bro, you're gonna look like Bowser in fucking Mario Kart.
Hey, it's all good. I'll pull it off though. You guys will get more TikTok followers.
Oh man.
All right, well, thank y'all for joining us. As always, catch y'all later.
Peace.
Definitely.
I'm a warrior.